Hey, what's up YouTube? This is We All Juggle Knives. It's a rainy day here today and I figured I would get out my Benchmade collection and talk a little bit about each knife and how I came to own all these. So in the comments section, you can write whatever you want as far as how much you like Benchmade, or if you don't like them, or if you've never tried them. Any kind of thoughts on Benchmade are welcome. I am far from, the most accomplished Benchmade collector. I'm not a specialist. I'm not a Benchmade specialist, but I do have a nice little collection, I feel. Years ago, Benchmade was seen as a very pricey knife company. Not as much anymore now that the folding knife market has exploded and custom knives have gotten bigger, as well as mid-techs. But now sometimes you'll even get people that skip over the high-end production knives and go right to custom or semi-custom. I think Nut and Fancy has helped Benchmade a great deal because I remember years and years ago seeing his videos, and of all the reviewers that I know, I subscribe to like hundreds of reviewers. He is one of the most positive on Benchmade, or at least he has been. I don't know about the more recent videos if he's changed his mind, but years ago, I remember seeing many very positive videos on Benchmades from him. In fact, off the top of my head, it's very difficult for me to think of any reviewers that I know on here that like Benchmade or SOG more than he does. Now, contrary to belief, I don't just buy things at random. I don't just throw darts on a board. I actually have a reason for every single one of these knives, or for purchasing every single one. Let's start with the Griptilians. How did you end up with 4 Griptilians? Don't you only need one? Well, the first one that I just got that years ago because I had heard so much about the Griptilian and about Benchmade. I just wanted to try one. So after having their basic model for a while, I looked at this sheep's foot model, and I like the opening hole better than the thumb stud. For one thing, it gives you slightly more usable length of blade, like if you were slicing through something. And I also just like the sheep's foot blade shape a little bit better for utility because of its slicing, and the tip is slightly forward of the imaginary center line of the blade. Now this third one is a limited edition. It is S30V. Now I do prefer S30V to the 154CM. Now those two are 154CM. So again, I considered the third one to be an improvement on what I already had because of the steel, and they only made a certain number of them, so it's more desirable collector-wise as well. And the fourth one, the Doug Ritter version of the Griptilian. Well, I like this one because, again, it has S30V, but they've also made the blade wider with more belly. I just feel it makes it more useful. It's better for slicing, and there's more grind area to work with. I also like the stonewash that they put on it. Yeah, I like a stonewash finish on a blade. So again, I considered this model to be an upgrade of what I already had. One controversy about Benchmade is the use of the axis lock. There are many benefits to an axis lock. Mainly the components are very small and very light. It takes up very little space and it adds very little weight, so it's efficient in that way. It also tends to be extremely smooth, gives you a very smooth opening. However, the Omega springs have been known to wear out sometimes. Those are the little springs that basically push the axis lock switch back up after you've depressed it. And those do tend to wear out, but Benchmade is very good at giving you replacements if you need them. Okay, the Benchmade 530, right? And its brother, this is the Benchmade 531. So why did I get these two blades? Well, the 530 I got because of its ultra light, ultra slim design. I just figured if I ever wanted something that was just, you wouldn't even feel like you were carrying anything as far as being weighed down. I mean, look how slim. I forget exactly how many ounces this is, but it's almost negligible. And the reason I got this one is because notice the difference in grind, right? This has a dagger grind with a false edge, right? Whereas this has a flat grind to the bevel up there. I consider this grind on this one to be an improvement because it gives you a wider grind area to work with. It's just better for slicing through. And here we have a gold class Benchmade, green anodized titanium handle scales, carbon fiber bolsters. All right, the blade is M4 steel. Yeah, this is my gold class Benchmade. And the reason I got this was because I wanted to try one of their gold class, and this was the least expensive gold class that I could find. I got a really good deal on it. It was on sale. I got it for basically $100 less than the normal price. You know, honestly, it was a bit disappointing. The way they've done the edge, you see how narrow the relief grind is. The way they've done the edge, I don't know, it just wasn't that good. Honestly, the edge on this just regular production Benchmade, the edge on this was actually better. You know, it came sharper. And here we have the Benchmade 470, the smaller one, and the 477. Well, I got the first one because I really liked the size of it, the way it looked. It just looked sleek, it looked efficient. And when I got it, I was quite impressed just by the fit and finish, the smoothness, the assist mechanism works incredibly well. It was just very well made. It's very attractive. It's aluminum handle, but it looks like titanium. So I just liked the look of it. And I got the larger model sometime later just because I was so impressed with the smaller model. I figured, well, I knew I was going to like the larger one, and I did. The larger model is actually a pretty gruesome tactical blade if you want it to be, just because of how pointed it is and how super sharp. I have to say, these are the most recommended Benchmades as far as what I have and what I've personally tried out. Like, if you want to try a Benchmade, don't get a Griptilian. I mean, you can if you want to, obviously, but if you want to experience like the real quality of Benchmade, just skip over the Griptilian and get yourself one of these. And speaking of the more tactical Benchmades, this is a Benchmade McHenry and Williams, right? An old school knife. And this is a Benchmade Striker, another old school knife. And it's quite amazing how sharp they managed to make this, considering, you know, it's just a straight edge, there's no curve to it. But this came extremely sharp. Oh, and check that out. A liner lock on a Benchmade? What the heck? Is that a real butterfly? Yeah, a non-axis lock Benchmade. It's assisted too. Hold on. The reason I got this years ago was basically to compare it to the Spyderco Military. Back then, years ago, this and the Spyderco Military were always mentioned in the same breath as kind of the pentultimate, you know, a round 4-inch blade tactical folder. And last but not least, the Nakamura. Now this is the special carbon fiber edition, right, with the, it's like electric blue accents. S90V is your blade steel. Beautiful stonewash on this, and it's extremely smooth. You can check out my full review of this, but sufficient to say I got this mainly for the collectability of it. I just thought it looked pretty breathtaking. Okay, YouTube, this has been We All Juggle Knives, and remember, in the comments, love them or hate them, you can say whatever you want about Benchmade. Hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for many more. I'm out.